Hey everyone, Dumont Owen here. It's Wednesday, my favorite day of the week, because we get to talk about LinkedIn. But before we get started, I wanted to tell you something exciting. In a few weeks, I'm going to be starting a second live stream that's called, whoops, it's telling me we didn't go live. Let's try it again. Okay. We had a little hiccup there in the in StreamYard, but it says that now I'm live. I hope I am, because before it cut me off. So if you can hear me and if you can see me, would you please drop something in the chat to let me know that that it's streaming okay? Okay. I'm going to assume that it is then. And if you are listening from Facebook, I just wanted to tell you, in order for me to see your questions or your comments, I need you to go above here and give have Facebook give StreamYard permission to show your name. Otherwise, you can be anonymous. I'll still answer your questions. But anyway, I'm so glad to be here today. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be starting a second live stream. Some of you who have been following me for a while know that I have started interviewing other experts who can help you in different areas that affect you as an entrepreneur. We've had people on to talk about podcasts, about business speaking, about leadership, and we're having someone on shortly who will be talking about sales. But I'm moving that podcast to, or not podcast, that live stream. I keep saying podcast. Maybe I'm telling myself something here. I'm moving that live stream to Thursdays at 2. So I will be talking about LinkedIn on every Wednesday. And then on Thursdays, we'll be talking to other experts. And stay tuned. It'll be sometime in the next few weeks, but I'm lining everybody up. Our first guest will be fellow experts. I'm in the book too, but in our international best-selling book, Game Changers. So I'm really excited about that. Kicking my new show off with that with that group, and I'll tell you more about it later. Those of you who are not familiar with me, I'm Dumont Owen, and I have been working with LinkedIn for over 17 years. I'm a master personal brand strategist and digital brand strategist and executive and leadership coach. And I love being on here. I love talking with you and presenting things to you to help you as you make LinkedIn work for you. Now, why am I so excited about LinkedIn? Well, I'll tell you. 7 years ago, I fell down a flight of stairs and I fractured my pelvis in 5 places. Oh, and I just I just injured my hand. I'm kind of a klutz. So that's why I'm wearing my weightlifting gloves here. But I fell down the stairs and fractured my pelvis. I'm smiling, but I wasn't smiling then. And it really took a year out of my life before I could get back back to normal. And I lost my business because I couldn't work in it. So I had to make money fast. And the way I found was the best was using LinkedIn, because 80% of leads that come from social media are generated by LinkedIn. Seriously. And LinkedIn users are more affluent than those on other social platforms, so they can afford to buy your premium products and services. So a little something to keep in mind there about LinkedIn. And this is why I'm so passionate about teaching it to you. So today we're going to go over some of the elements of what makes a really powerful LinkedIn profile. And later on, I'm going to drop the link to my free mini course. It's free today. That's how to build a branded profile for LinkedIn. So stay tuned for the end. If you are catching this on the replay, I will be sending out the slides or the slide deck. I won't send out the actual slides themselves, and I will send out the replay for this along with the links to the profile mini course. So let's get started. I'm going to pull up my presentation. Okay, there we go. Okay, so today we're talking about how to create a LinkedIn profile that sells while you sleep. And we're going to start with this. But before we actually get started on the profile, I always like to ask a branding question. So different colors mean different things in branding. You know, my colors are blue and red. Blue is the predominant one, and that stands for knowledgeable, trustworthy. You can trust us to do what we say. Judicious, discerning, all of those things would be something that go along with blue. And then red is my brand color of red is because I'm just so passionate about what I do, and people constantly say that about me. So I'm wondering, what is your personal brand color? It's not the color that you look good wearing. It's what attributes does your brand convey? Because one of the most important things that you're going to do on your LinkedIn profile is put that banner in that has your brand colors. So I want you to be thinking about that as we're going through. Okay. This is a model that I've developed to just really explain to you where we're talking about right now in terms of building a brand and promoting it on LinkedIn and building that essential LinkedIn lead generation system and sales funnel. So there are 4 steps. The first is clarity up here, and clarity means really getting clear about your goals, your niche, and your brand, what we were just talking about. And your strategy comes out of clarity. Now, one of the things that you want to do in this clarity stage is really figure out which metrics on LinkedIn are going to tell you whether you're reaching your goals. Because, you know, it's a terrible thing to go through a whole year on LinkedIn and then suddenly find out, oh, I spent all this time on LinkedIn and I didn't reach my goals. So you really want to be clear about those 3 things: your goals, your niche, and your brand. Secondly, there's awareness. And I have an arrow here because this is where what we're doing today falls. Awareness is all about your profile and content creation in terms of creator mode or your messaging, and all of that goes into this area. So, you know, building a profile that really attracts your ideal clients and then compels them to take the next step in your sales funnel is what we're talking about today. The third step is lead generation, and that's really about relationship building. And, you know, I have other times that, and you'll see in other presentations more about what this means, but in general, just in general terms, it's talking about how to find the right people, how to invite them to connect in a way that doesn't, you know, that really encourages them to respond, and also how to build those relationships through direct messaging. And all of that is so important because we know that most sales that come from LinkedIn are the result of direct messaging. Now, when people think about this, they think, oh, I don't have the time to do this. And actually, I don't have time to do it in this presentation, but I do talk about how you can create a LinkedIn playbook that makes this so much faster that you can do it in 15 to 30 minutes a day. That's not so bad, huh? So you know, pay attention and watch my upcoming presentations, because I will be talking more about that. And then the final stage is sales and analysis. Now, sales is what we all want, right? We want to be able to get more clients and close them fast on LinkedIn. And so sales is how to sell to people that you meet on LinkedIn without being pushy, phony, or manipulative, and without slamming them with a sales pitch. What I see so many times is that people who are in this stage, in the stage of lead generation, go from invitation to sales. They don't build a relationship in between, and building a relationship isn't that hard. And if you think about it, this is how we've always done sales, right? We have to get people to know, like, and trust us in order for them to buy our premium products. So that sales and analysis is a really important component. But today we're going to talk about the first thing that you have to have in place on LinkedIn. Once you gain that clarity, you need to build a really great LinkedIn profile. So let's get started with that. Okay, you hear a lot of talk about an all-star profile. And I don't know that LinkedIn shows it to you anymore. It used to be available in your dashboard. But what that means is that LinkedIn, that the more sections that you fill out on your LinkedIn profile, the more likely it is that people are going to find you. And that's because you have more room to talk about your niche. You have more room to use keywords to attract people, and you can really build that following with a profile, with having a full and accurate profile that promotes your brand and really gets people to want to connect with you. Okay. Most profiles don't work, okay? And I'm not just talking about the ones that don't have a banner, although my gosh, you have to have. If you have that old generic banner on your profile, change it right now. I have a course in which I show you exactly how to do a new banner in using Canva. So just know that that's possible. So most profiles don't work. And a lot of them don't work because they're me too, meaning, you've gone to other people's profiles, and not that you've stolen what they said, because, I'm trusting you not to do that. And we do want to go to other people's profiles and get an idea of words. If you're a career coach, and every profile that you go to for career coaches uses words or keyword phrases like job search or career development or career transitions, then you start getting an idea of what keywords to use, right? But you don't want to have your profile look just like everyone else's, because the biggest thing that your profile can do is differentiate you as someone different than the other people who do the same things you do. So you want a profile that makes you stand out because it's branded. Okay, secondly, it's a best kept secret. And by that, I mean making your viewing options, when you go into settings, anonymous. It will give you that choice. And yes, you want to do that sometimes if you're stealth, going, and you want to check out potential clients. Although I think it's a good idea for potential clients to see your name. It raises curiosity. But if you're spying on your competitors, you might want it to be anonymous. But don't forget to go back and put it back on full visibility, because you don't want to be a best kept secret. You want people to be able to find you. Another mistake people make is that their profiles are passive versus active. And by that, I mean, they never change. You never add new content. You never change your headline. My headline is pretty good right now, I think, but I'm getting ready to change it a little bit, because it's really great to give people an opportunity to see that you've changed things. And when you change your headline, or you change something on your profile, if you have it set up in settings and privacy that people will see when you change your profile, that's a great way because it lets them know there's something new on your profile. However, if you are just updating your profile now and you're going to be making lots of changes, turn that off in privacy and settings, because otherwise, every time you change a word in your profile, people are going to get notified, and they're going to get pretty sick of being notified 6 times or 10 times a day that that something's changed in your profile. So be careful of that. Another is that it's not targeted, and by that I mean you don't have a target audience. And if you don't have a target audience and you're trying to please everyone, you're going to end up by not reaching out to anyone, by not attracting anyone. So you really want to make your profile all about your target audience. And then it's incongruent, meaning that it's not in congruence with who you really are. It's not authentic, or that each section seems a little different. You're not congruent between your sections as to what your brand is and who you are. Okay, so one of the first things that you want to do on your LinkedIn profile is optimize your contact information. Why? Because that's going to make it easy for people to find you on LinkedIn, but also on Google. Okay, because if you've ever looked at Google, your results, that if you've ever Googled your name and put quotation marks around it so that you'll get your exact name, you might find that, or you will find that your LinkedIn profile is in the top 3 results. But if other people are looking for you and they're looking for you by name, you want them to be able to find that. So in your profile, in your contact information, I want you to change right here where it says you'll have linkedin.com/in/, and there's going to be a whole bunch of gobbledygook after that. So take out the gobbledygook and put your name there. And that's really important. Now, you can also customize LinkedIn as far as your websites. It gives you the option to have your blog or your website, but maybe you want to publicize your Facebook group. So you could have that link there. Just click on Other and put that link in and what it is, and people will be able to find it. Maybe you want your calendar there if you want people to make appointments with you. So you can customize up to 3 things. Maybe it's a landing page. That's what I like to put in mine, is a landing page. And I have the page that I have my free gift on so that people can see it. So you can use that section, to work for you a lot better. And I know a bunch of us don't like to put our email on there. We don't want people, just hitting us with sales messages and going to our email and taking advantage of us, because, in order to be ethical, we really should not be emailing people if we don't have their permission. But I want you to have your email there because that's how potential clients can connect with you. Now, you could also put your phone number. I have mine, but some people are hesitant to do that, and I really do understand that. I tend to think that it just is a little bit more open. So I have that there. And you can have your birthday. Now, you don't have to put the year. So you can have your birthday. If you don't want people to discriminate you by age, and people do, they may think you're too young, or they may think you're too old, or you may be like the 3 bears and be just right. But I would encourage you not to put the year on, because it's just not necessary. But having your birthday there reminds people that you're around and they can send you a birthday message. Okay. Now, there are 6 characteristics of a powerful personal brand. And I'm going to go through these fairly quickly, but I hope you're taking notes. If you are, you want to write down these characteristics of a powerful personal brand. So write that down right now. Okay, 1 is that it's unique. And that's that whole thing I was talking about differentiation. You want it to, you want a powerful personal brand presents you as different than all of your competitors. And it's authentic. And we talked about that a bit too. Authenticity is just so important. People really recognize authenticity because there's so many people in the world and on LinkedIn who are not authentic. And I'm not just talking about people who have fake, we all know that there are some fake profiles out there, but I'm talking about people who don't represent themselves as who they really are. They try and assume a different persona and be like someone else, and that's not going to work for you. Okay, a point of view, POV. Now, a point of view is so important. That's your brand voice. And I'm going to really reach back in the memory records here, go in the Wayback Machine. When I was a kid, there were two sisters, and I can't remember one was Ann Landers, and the other one was Abby Landers, maybe, or I don't know if she was married or not, but they had advice columns, and they were really, really famous. They were like the most read columnists in the country, and the reason was that when people would write in for advice, they would give them their point of view. And it wasn't always what they wanted to hear. I remember one phrase was, and I don't remember which one used it, but 50 lashes with a wet noodle. They would tell you if they thought that you'd been impolite or uncaring. They'd also tell you if they thought, they'd also tell you, an answer, give you advice if they thought you were doing, you did the right thing. But they always had a point of view. And rather than turning people off, it made people read it. Even if they totally disagreed with that point of view, people really want to plug into people who have a point of view. So that's really, really important. And then your story. This is how you got here. My story is all about, actually losing my business because of that injury, because of an injury, and then having to make money fast and learning how to use LinkedIn, the best way to do that. Because before that, I'd been a career coach and I had been helping other people use LinkedIn to do career transitions and find jobs. But learning how to be an entrepreneur and how to use LinkedIn that way was totally new to me. And it was something that I had to learn fast. Compelling. A powerful brand is really, really compelling. It mesmerizes people. It reaches out to that target audience and brings them in, because every word of your brand and every word of your LinkedIn profile is so compelling, they want to go on to the next sentence. And then finally, a personal brand reflects a niche, your target audience that you're trying to reach on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you 3 examples of how to write a personal brand statement, because when you do your headline, you may not use this exact statement, but you're going to have those elements of it. So your personal brand statement, I'm going to give you 3 examples. You don't have to follow any of these specifically. But what I want you to do is understand that they're going to talk about your skills or your superpowers. They're going to talk about who you help, and they're going to talk about the results that you produce. So in this first one, I use my blank to blank for blank. I put an example here. I use my knowledge of personal branding and LinkedIn to build lead generation systems for coaches, consultants, and service providers. Okay, so that's one example. Another example would be I support or help or empower blank by blank. So I could use that same information, but say, I help coaches, consultants, and service providers get more clients and close more sales on LinkedIn by building lead generation systems and sales funnels. If this makes sense to you, give me a, yeah, I get it in the comments. Okay, and then I'm going to give you a third one. And this is a third way to do it. Leveraging my blank and blank, I deliver blank to blank. So leveraging my knowledge of LinkedIn and personal branding, I deliver more clients in record time to coaches, consultants, and service providers. So take these, fool around with them. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is to write 10 to 15, 10 to 15 brand statements. Now, that sounds like a lot, but once you get going and fool around with this, you're going to find out that they start flowing. And 10 to 15 gives you a good enough number that you're going to be able to find the one that works best. Usually they're going to fall somewhere in the range of that 1 to 10 or 1 to 15 brand statements. Don't ask me why, but I've seen this happen over and over again with my clients. So do yourself a favor and sit down and do this. Now, another step that you could take to make sure that you've really got it nailed would be to ask someone you know, or ask several people that you know, and ask them whether this brand statement reflects who you are and your skills, your super strengths, and who you help and the results you provide. Okay, so where can you put that branded content? Well, there are 4 places that I'm going to show you to start with. One is in your photo, your photo, your headshot. And you don't have to have a professional headshot. If you want to, that's great. A professional photographer, absolutely can do things that we can't do. But just about any camera right now can take a really clear photo. And you don't want it to be a selfie. But you do want to make sure that you have a neutral background. You want to be smiling. You want to be looking into the camera. And you want to be dressed in a way that gives a professional appearance for your industry and your field of expertise. Another place that it's going to show up is in your banner. And you can see here, mine shows the name of my company, Dumont and Associates, and it also has LinkedIn there because that's a lot of what I do. And it says helping coaches and consultants build success on LinkedIn. And then we have my tagline: more leads, more clients, more revenue, more life. Because I really believe that if you do the things that I'm telling you to do right now, it is going to lead to those other things. You absolutely can turn LinkedIn into a lead generation system and sales funnel by following this advice. Now, then it's going to show up in your headline. Now, in my name there, you see that I do have PhD behind my name. And LinkedIn encourages you to put educational credentials. What I am going to suggest to you is that if you have a lot of certifications, I could say that I have an ELD, I always get CELDC, Certified Executive Leadership and Development Coach. But if I put that behind my name, anybody who doesn't have that certification is not going to know what that means. And I have seen profiles where there were so many acronyms behind people's names that it doesn't mean anything to people. They don't know what that means. So if you're a career coach, you're a certified career management coach, I would suggest that you put that in your headline rather than in your rather than in your name. Okay. The next part is your headline. And your headline is a really great place to put your brand. In mine, I have my certification. I have, what I do. And then I have a little zing there. I help coaches, consultants, and other professional service providers land their 100% right fit clients on demand. So I don't know if that's my current one right now. I change it up every once in a while, but that's basically it. So those are 4 places where your brand is going to show up. Now, in your headline, remember I just mentioned sizzle. In your headline, you want to use your title, your keywords, and sizzle. Okay, it's a combination of those things. So this is an old one of mine that I had. Master Person on Digital Brand Strategist, LinkedIn coach and trainer, helping coaches and consultants land lucrative leads without the sleeves. Meaning that I help them get clients and close those sales without being high pressure and phony and manipulative. But I want you to look at another thing too. My title is very clear as to what I do. I'm a personal and digital brand strategist. I'm a LinkedIn coach and trainer. And personal brand strategist, digital brand strategist, LinkedIn coach, and trainer are all key words that people are going to look for. So I have my title, and my title is very specific. I have not put CEO of Dumont and Associates. And the reason I haven't is that Dumont and Associates doesn't actually tell you exactly what I do. And if you I see so many headlines that say CEO and that's it. CEO of what? Yeah, you're the CEO, but what do you do? So people need the rest of it. If your company is ABC, people don't know what that means, so you have to explain it to them in your headline. And here's another one: lawyer plus certified life. Whoops, I just went back. Okay. Lawyer plus certified life coach to lawyers who are over the overwhelmed and want to live lives with less stress plus far more fulfillment. So this person's a lawyer, they're a life coach, and those are all keywords. I know what I'm doing. I'm hitting my keyboard here. Sorry about that. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. A lawyer and certified life coach. So this is telling you specifically what that person does. Someone can search for them based on those keywords. And then they talk about who they help and how they help them, the results. Okay, let's look at a couple of more examples. Randy Bussin here is a coach. She's also an MBA, so she has her education there. And I want you to look at her headline: Trusted Advisor Coach for Rising Stars Execs Entrepreneurs. Capitalize on strengths, illuminate your personal brand return on investment, stand out, and open doors. Okay, so she's absolutely got what she does, right? She's an advisor and coach. And who she works with. She works with rising stars, execs, entrepreneurs, and she helps them capitalize on their strengths, get more of a return on investment for their personal brand and stand out and open doors. And isn't that what you want if you're looking for a job or making a career transition? So this is an excellent example. And look at that banner. That shows her in all different aspects of what she does. And that photo, yes, ma'am. She is looking directly into the camera. She's got a big old smile on her face. She looks so professional. And her brand color is blue. So blue is throughout this. And you're really getting that sense of who she is. Okay. Another example. Deb Dibb is a fellow master personal brand strategist, and she is so good at this. She's a brand storyteller, an editor and polisher, writing strategy coach, and her zing there is I help busy, gutsy career pros get unstuck, fast, fun, done. Now, what Deb does is she helps people who are career development or career professionals, career coaches, career counselors, job search coaches, all of those. When they write something, she helps them polish it. She helps them get it done. And Deb is she's just great to work with. She's just so much fun. So in this, you're really seeing who she is. She tells you what she is. Storyteller is one of the most, well, brand and storyteller are some of the most powerful keywords on LinkedIn right now. Editor, writing strategy coach, all of those. And then this is where she's just brilliant with what she does. I help busy, gutsy career pros get unstuck, because don't we all get stuck on what we're writing sometimes? Fast, fun, done. Great, 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 great sizzle there. Okay, so let's talk about some of the characteristics that, or some of the things that will help you write a really great a really great about section. One is knowing your why. Simon Sinek did a TED talk about knowing your why. And your why is why you do what you do. And people really want to know that. They want to know your story. Include your personal brand statement. Well, we've talked about that. Identify keywords. We've talked about that too. And if you want to evaluate the keywords that you want to use, you can go to the search bar on any page on LinkedIn and type in a hashtag and then that keyword, and then click people under show results, and it's going to show you how many people are following that. So that's a really great way to find keywords. Tell your story. This is your brand story, why you do what you do. Be crystal clear about your niche. Know who you're serving. This is so important because you have to be able in your brand, in your profile, to talk about their problems and challenges. It's really a temptation to talk about ourselves and our qualifications. And we do want to do that. And we do want to talk about our solutions. But the first job of your profile is to convince the people who are landing on it that you understand the problems and challenges that they face every day. That is just so important. Okay, focus on their pain points, what I just said, what their challenges and problems are. Consider including snips of recommendations. Your recommendations are all the way down at the bottom of your profile. So take a snippet from one of them, or take a snippet from a recommendation on your website, or something that somebody wrote to you, and put that all the way up in your about section or in one of your experience sections so people can see it. That's social proof that you are who you say you are, that you do what you say you do. So that's really, really powerful. Present your solutions. So once you've acknowledged what their problems and challenges are, then you're going to be able to present your solutions to those problems and challenges. And then finally, tell them what to do next. We call this the call to action. You want to tell them the next step in your sales funnel. So subscribe to my newsletter, get my whatever your lead magnet is, make an appointment for a consultation. That's why I told you could have your calendar in your contact information. Or you might just say, let's talk, and have your email right there. Or, you could have your email there and just tell people, let's talk. Or you could have your calendar link, whatever you want. And you can put that right there. Okay, whoops. Okay, your featured section. Now, your featured section is really something that you really want to pay attention to. Now, this is an old photo of my featured section, but you'll notice that I had one of my presentations there. I had an article there. Well, I had two articles there. These days, I would suggest that if you're only going to have two things in your featured section, and this is the featured section that comes up at the top of your profile before you get to your experience sections. Your featured section, I wouldn't put more than 5 to 6 things in there, and I would make my first and second ones something like a video or an article that you've had a good response to, and secondly, something about your free gift or your lead magnet, because that gives people something they can act on right there. And you can also add features, videos. You know, come on, everybody loves video, and video has so many advantages. Video shows who you are. It helps people get to know who you are. And you can actually insert your video. You can actually insert video in your area for your photo at the top of your profile. You can record a 30-second video on your phone and it will show up there. You can upload it there. You can't upload it from the desktop version. You have to do it on your phone. You can edit things from your desktop, but you can't upload the video from your desktop. And this is really simple. Practice it. You know, this is your brand statement again. You know, hey, thanks for dropping by my profile. I'm so glad that you did. I help coaches and consultants land more clients and close more sales fast on LinkedIn. You know, I mean, you can just do something. It's very brief. It's only 30 seconds. Okay. So it's not going to be long. You could point them to your free gift, or you could tell them where they can get more information. There are a lot of ways to use that profile. Take a little time, shop around, look at other people's profiles. You'll know that they have a video because the first few seconds you're on their profile, you'll see that their photo changes to their video. And if you click on it, it'll give you the option of watching their video. Okay. Experience. Now, experience is another place that you can add video or articles or whatever. So you can do that with each of your experience sections too. And I would suggest to you that you do it with all of them. So your experience section has a couple of purposes. Hold on. One, it highlights different services and niches. Unlike in a resume where you have to have a date by everything, on LinkedIn, you can have that same time period. You know, I have 2 companies. I have Dumont and Associates. I also still have Radically Rewarding Careers. And so those serve very different niches. Dumont and Associates is geared towards entrepreneurs. Radically Rewarding Careers is geared towards people who are making a career transition or looking for a job. So I have those in the same time period, but one can be geared towards one niche and one is geared towards the other. Optimize your headlines with keywords and your brand statement. Again, you're going to be able to reinforce what you do. Now, you probably won't have exactly the same headline. You know, you'll vary it a little bit, but you want to make sure that all those things are still in there. Your title, your keywords, and that sizzle that shows them the results. And then you're going to emphasize the results you provide and reinforce it with social proof. Again, you can add those snippets. Snippets of recommendations are so powerful. And then finally, you can have another call to action. Now, I didn't say this when we were talking about your about section, but you should only have one call to action per section. Research shows that when you have a call to action, people will actually do what you're telling them to do. But if you have 2 calls to action and they have to make a decision, they don't do either. But you can have a different call to action in each one of your sections. So if you have an about section and you have a call to action there, you can also have a different call to action in each of your experience sections. So you can still do it all, you just don't do it then. Okay, other information that you're going to want to include in your profile. education, certifications and licensures, accomplishments, skills and endorsements. We've already talked about that. Recommendations and your interests or passions. All of those things are going to be filled out in your profile. For education and certifications and licensures, be sure you're being very accurate. And by the way, you don't have to put the year on any of those. So if you're worried again about age discrimination, you don't have to put it there. You can have your accomplishments. These are your superpowers, right? And then your skills and endorsements. And we don't have time to go into it today, but your skills can actually now be added to all of your sections on your profile. So they're not just in the skills and endorsement section. They can be on your about section, on your experience, on your education, all through your profile. And then you're going to have your recommendations and your interest. And why are interests important? Well, for one, you can have the groups that you're a member of, and that's a way people can interact with you, and it increases your chances of them wanting to connect with you and your chances of being able to connect with them. They look at the companies that you're following. This tells people things, and the influencers that you follow. You know, if you're in marketing, you're probably following Gary Vee, right? So you're going to want the people that other people are going to recognize, because it gives them a hint into who you are. Another little glimpse. Okay, and here are some final tips. Know your niche. Okay, we've talked about that. Use a conversational tone. You want people to feel like they are in a conversation with you. So I would not recommend doing things in the third person. If I were writing my profile in the third person, it would be Dumont Owen does such and such, or Dumont Owen is a master personal and digital brand strategist. No, you want to use the conversational tone so that people feel like they're actually talking to you. Use the right keywords, so important. Brand your headline and your about section. And finally, up your Google juice with images and or video. And I would do all of those things. So I am going to, this is a place where you can get my new LinkedIn profile checklist. And I'm going to put it right here in the chat. But when I send this out, when I send out the replay, I'm also going to give you access to my mini course, my LinkedIn profile mini course. I'm going to tell you how you can get that. So get that checklist now. It will take you step by step through what you need to do. And it also tells you the 5 C's of a powerful LinkedIn profile. So any questions, anyone? Okay, it's the day before Thanksgiving, and we are all thinking, if we're in the United States, we're all thinking about Thanksgiving dinner and being with all our friends and family. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to thank all of you for attending this or signing up for the replay, and have a great Thanksgiving. This is Dumont Owen saying ta-ta for now.